Wow, here we go. Yeah. So, welcome to the Find Happiness podcast, where we explore ways to find joy and fulfillment in our lives. We have a very special guest joining us. His name is Douglass Weismann. He's a talented
Hi.
writer and has just released a new book about mental health and family life. Douglass is a wealth of knowledge and experience when it comes to overcoming depression, and he has been on a personal journey to finding happiness. We're honored to have Douglass here with us today to share his insights and wisdom. Welcome, Douglass. Welcome.
Thanks so much. It's so nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Wow, yeah, it's so nice to have you here as well. I like the smiles. I like what the smile brings.
Thank you. I think so too. I try to smile as often as possible.
Oh, really? Yeah. So what does smiling do to the body?
Yeah, well, I mean, automatically you use less muscles, you use fewer muscles when you smile,
Oh,
so
yeah.
automatically I'm being lazy. So I can just smile more than frown and I have more energy to do other things. But then I feel like I
Oh,
sit up
okay. Oh,
straighter, I feel like I'm more engaged, all these things. Just and then when you smile at somebody, generally they smile back and it just like a little thing
yeah.
can make a big difference in
So
somebody's
what you
day.
give, you get. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
You want
100%.
some of this?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I love looking for new places to find happiness.
You're on the right spot. We're already finding happiness, and we're giving happiness out. That's what we're doing.
Absolutely.
But generally, what find happiness is all about is helping people who do not really have access to mental health care with your kind of resources. To reduce them from no, just stop them from going like amber to red and coming back from amber to green. That's what find happiness is all about. No much grammar. That's what we're doing, and this is humanitarian. This is like a humanitarian service. That's it. So that's what you're doing, and that's what I'm doing. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep helping them. So
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
going to shoot with the first question. Can you tell us about your new book and how it relates to your personal experience with depression?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, just to start with depression, I've had challenges with depression since I was 13, and I'm 36 now. So it's 23 years that I've had really high highs, really low lows, going in to meet with people, trying medication, trying new things,
Yeah.
and it always comes in forms. Like sometimes depression can come in extreme sadness, sometimes it can come in an inability to do something, just to get myself to complete an activity, to leave the house, to meet with people, isolate myself. And when writing this book, one of the things it gave me was a sense of purpose, and it gave me an outlet, an emotional outlet. So
Yeah.
when I was feeling depressed and I got engaged with the characters and I got engaged with writing, I had this space where I could put all those emotions and feelings if I didn't feel like I could share it with other people. And all over the world, depression still has this really big stigma where people think just smile, just get over it, just life's not that bad. Why are you depressed? When it's not that simple, right? It's a lot more complex than just saying, you know, just get over it, just do something else, just talk to somebody. It's
Exactly.
a journey.
Oh, yeah, of course it's a journey. I've not read your book, but I think your book is incredible, powerful, and it's moving, honestly. And it's clear that you've put a lot of personal insights and vulnerability into it. It's like a true statement to your courage and strength. That's what I see it
Thank
as.
you.
That's what I see it as.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And I that was important to me. It was important to me to have that vulnerability and authenticity because the characters experience extreme trauma in their own ways, and it's about their journey, their specific journeys, and it's not the same for everybody, but it is kind of a demonstration that no matter what your trauma or
Mm-hmm.
pain might be, there will be a way through it, but you have to find your own path through it. You can try and follow others, but if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. You just have to keep going and find your own way.
You have to find happiness. That's the word.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's where you find it along the way, and it helps encouraging you. I mean, my big thing about happiness, obviously, I like to think I'm a happy person. It doesn't mean I don't struggle with depression, but happiness is, it's not so much an end goal as a reoccurring milestone. You constantly have to keep reaching for it, reaching out for it, continuing to do the things that make you happy. Because if you just kind of go through the motions, you lose that happiness and you have to find it all over again.
Do you know what I see happiness as? Happiness is a choice. It's what you want.
Yeah.
It's either you decide to be happy or you decide to be sad. But I choose to be happy. And what do you choose to be?
I choose to be happy.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Anyway, nice one. So, how's your travels and experiences as a travel writer contributed to your understanding and approach to mental health?
It's changed how I view the world and how I view my own connection to the world. And that's a big part of what brings me happiness. I find joy in connecting with other people. I find joy in listening to new stories. I find joy in understanding these little details that actually connect people, such as how the word for tea in Hindi sounds very similar to the word for tea in Arabic.
Wow.
And just like little things that are that might be overlooked or not considered or not connected for people who don't necessarily hear those two languages often enough. But those are just little things that make me happy, and I find joy and happiness in those little details. And so when I travel and I meet with new people, I learn new things that bring me happiness.
Oh, okay. There's a particular phrase in my own part of the world, and I'm going to use pidgin too, but I'll break it down. It says, landlord, travel and see. Do you get that? So if you sit at a place and you don't travel, there are certain things you would not know, honestly. So to me, I think your travels has given you a unique perspective on mental health and the cultural attitude towards it, honestly. And it's so inspiring to me to see your experiences. I'm excited today, honestly. I am so excited. I'm so excited. I'm excited at how much you're informed and your approach and understanding about this topic. Like, you see how I've been screaming here, even before this whole thing, we have been saying a lot. Oh, that's BTS. They don't know what happened though. That's behind the scene.
Yeah, but that's part of it though. Is the whole, it's a whole ecosystem, and it's about being open to sharing. Yeah. It's about being open to healing, and it's about being open to new concepts that might help.
Yeah, I think that people going through different stuff should be open to traveling, because traveling can also help them see things in different lights and change their perspectives and even help them get off depression. Sometimes road trips, I prefer more road trips than air trips and all that. There are a lot that the bushes will speak to you. There's a lot that the wind will speak to you and all that, So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, no, I love your thoughts. I mean, I take for granted the things that are too close to me, right? Like, I have beautiful mountains near me. I have beautiful hiking trails near me. And sometimes I forget, but I don't always have to go to another country to experience something new.
So where's your next spot? Where are you traveling to next?
I'm really eager to go to Portugal next. That's on the top of my list. I'm also really eager to go to Ethiopia, but I don't think that's happening this year. But we'll see. Maybe it will.
Anyway, when you get to Portugal and if you find Ronaldo there, say hi to him. I'm one of his greatest fans. Do you know Ronaldo? Ronaldo plays football.
I will. I think that would be, if I happen to run into him, I think it would be a very different trip than I would have expected.
I'm just saying. I'm just joking. Anyway, so how has your family life influenced your perspective on depression and mental health?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to have very open family members. My parents were eager to support me. My siblings, I have a brother and a sister, they were eager to understand. My mother worked in a hospital. She was a physical therapist for decades. So her outlook on it was very different than others might have been. And my dad is a lawyer, and he has has more understanding and more connection to people who may have been dealing with depression than other people. And I think those perspectives really help them come from a different angle than others may have. Because I know, talking to other family members outside of my immediate family, there was, I had to have the conversation. I had to explain kind of what I'm feeling, why I need to see a therapist, or what is different than just being able to smile and forget about it. So I think it really helped me understand that what I was feeling wasn't debilitating, and it wasn't something that ostracized me, and it was something that I could cope with and break through, and that really helped me, because understanding, like, it will come back. It's not something that I just break away from and it leaves forever. It does. It is a constant reimagining of how I can approach and feel better.
Yeah, but at least you had your family support, right?
100%. I mean, I have struggle imagining what it would have been like if my family was not as supportive as they were.
Yeah, so I think your family played such an important role in your life, and the understanding of depression and mental health. It's clear that you have been they have been a huge support and inspiration for you. The family is very important through such times.
Exactly, and it transferred over to my wife.
Yeah, family would hardly turn their back on you. Family is family. Like, people should always hold family high and tight. Yeah, so
I agree. Yeah, I mean,
I do agree too, because when I was depressed, my family stood behind me. They stood behind me and didn't want me to fall. They were there for me all the way. All the way. It was just family, and friends. There's one of my friends. I'm sorry, but I'll just mention his name. His name is Ferdinand Adimefe. I cannot forget him in a hurry. I don't even call him friend. His family too. He was there for me, like, totally. So family plays a long role, plays all the role in when people are depressed, and we should hold family tight, just like you hold your family tight as well. Are you ready for the next one? Because I'm going to shoot really hard. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you share some tips and strategies for those who are currently struggling with depression, particularly in relation to your book?
Yeah. I mean, this one is a tough question because, again, mental health struggles are so personalized, right? Everybody experiences them differently. And for me, what really helped was going out and walking, just walking around a park, walking around on a hiking trail, walking somewhere that felt comfortable, a little different, but just outside in nature, helped me when I could get out and do those things. And then while I was walking, it gave me space to think about my book, and then I would connect with these characters on a deeper level, and then I would understand their stories better and the way that their relationships developed. And because I'm removing myself from this space that I felt claustrophobic in, but sometimes I couldn't even get myself to leave that space. Sometimes I felt stuck in my room, and those are the hardest times, when I felt like I couldn't even get the motivation to leave the house. And in those times, I would lean harder on those around me, lean harder on my family, lean harder on my wife. And it's this understanding that I needed to find a bigger purpose for me. And my book was a great revelation in that. And then after the book, it was also, making sure that I had another motivation, whether it's my wife, or I have a 3-year-old daughter, and she became a motivation. And these things helped me get up in the morning, help me do this other thing, make breakfast for myself so I can make breakfast for my daughter. Like these little steps. It's all about baby steps. It's not about the big goal. It's not about writing the whole book. It was just like, write one sentence.
Exactly.
Take that next step on the hike. Just put on the pair of pants. Put the pancake on the stove. These little things.
Brush your mouth in the morning.
And that's it. Like it's not this. It's hard to imagine. that thing, like this small little step can
Yeah,
be such a powerful thing, but it is. It's one step
exactly.
leads to another step, leads to another step, and then next thing you
Exactly.
know, you're 100 steps down the road.
Well, your advice is so valuable and insightful, and it's clear that you truly understand what it's like to struggle with depression. Your tips, your strategies are practical and they are relatable if you look at them. And I will. There's no doubt to it will be helpful to many people. I'm sure a lot of people are just picking their pens and writing down tips just from what you're saying. How do you balance the demands of writing, traveling, and managing your mental health? Like, I want to come back
That's
to it. How do you balance the demands of writing, traveling, and managing
yeah.
your mental health? How do you balance it?
Luckily for me and the way I travel, it helps my mental health because of the way I like to experience the world and create new relationships and create new relationships with the place I'm visiting, not just the people that I meet along the way. So that's something that really affects me, and it gets me, it kind of forces me out, right? If I'm in a new country, in a new place, I'm immediately energized to leave my hotel or my home or wherever I'm staying
Yeah.
and walk and explore, eat something new, drink caffeine, whatever it is. And it's actually harder when I return home, and that sense of newness is gone, and then I have to go back to those baby steps, back to wake up and exercise, take a shower, put
Mm-hmm.
on the pants,
Yeah.
make the breakfast. And again, it comes back to that. And then again, writing is another thing that helps my mental health because it's a place where I can process my emotions, where I'm going through so many different emotions throughout the day, as everybody is, and it's hard for me to process because I move so quickly, and one thing
I
leads to
get
the next
you.
thing leads to a next
Yeah.
thing, and I can't stop until finally I'm writing, and then I have the time and that moment, right? I mean, that's like what you're doing now, right? How do you feel when you're doing this podcast and you're talking to people and you're kind of exploring the harder truths of mental health, but in real time?
It's something that I can't really explain. It brings joy. It brings happiness. It brings everything in me. You see, like I feel like I'm compelled to do it. I don't have a choice. Like happiness is a choice. I don't have a choice. I just have to do it
Right.
because there are a lot of people out there that need this. They need to hear this. And I can't sit down here. I'm out of depression. I know a lot of people out there need to get out of depression, and then I'll just sit down and relax when I know there's a solution to this. No way, no way. I listened to all you have said, and I think that you have a very unique and demanding lifestyle,
Yeah.
and it's impressive. Impressive how you manage to balance it all. Your approach to balancing writing, traveling, and taking care of your mental health is truly admirable. I envy you. I'm jealous. I wish I
Well,
could
I
travel
want to
as
make it
much
clear,
though.
like I definitely don't have it perfected. I don't have it perfected. It's a every day it's a challenge, right? But that's what a balance is, right? Every day you have to rebalance things. You have to
I know,
reassess,
I know. I get
right?
you. Okay, so I want you to share an inspiring or memorable moment from your travels that helped you in your journey to overcoming depression. Just if you can find one.
Yeah, a perfect example I have was I was in Thailand. This was in 2009.
Okay.
2009?
Yeah.
2010. Okay. 2000, I think it was 2009. And I was with a friend. She was traveling with me for about a month or 6 weeks.
He or
And
she.
we just, she. So
Okay.
she was a friend from home.
Mhm.
She met me in Southeast Asia. We're traveling around for a little bit, and we end up in Bangkok. And there's this bar where we hear music, and we're just really interested in hearing what the music was. And we go in, and we meet this group. There was maybe about six of them, and they're locals. And we just had this really good time with them, just getting to know them, dancing to the music. And then they invited us to this other bar. And we're like, sure, okay. And they take us about 25 minutes away from the center neighborhood that we were staying in. And we had no idea where we were, no idea how we were going to get back. But it was this incredible tent that had these large... We were lost, but it felt... We were lost just in terms of we didn't know where we were, but we didn't feel uncomfortable about it, right? We actually felt safe and we felt supported by this group. Like we knew that they were going to help us in some way. And we ended up at this bar that was nothing like anything we'd ever seen because it was a tent. There were big screen TVs everywhere, music's pulsing. And then they had this cart service, but it wasn't about it being a bar. It was just about the fact that we carried on this relationship and made this connection with this group of people who maybe 2 out of the 6 of them spoke English. We spoke no Thai, except for hello and goodbye. And it was funny. It was lovely. And it just, every time I think, it was a joyous moment. And every time I think about it, it just brings a smile to my face because of, it's one of those stories that really demonstrates, 1, the beauty of travel, and 2, why I can kind of take the next step even when I'm scared.
Yeah, okay. What you have just said is so powerful and inspiring. I mean, a lot of people will be looking at this kind of adventures because I think it was really adventurous. It's clear that your travels has had very profound impact on your journey to overcoming depression, and it's amazing to hear you. And I'm speechless. I'm speechless.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Can you talk about any specific cultural or societal attitudes towards mental health that you have encountered during your travels?
During my travels, it's more difficult. There were places that I visited, like Australia or United Kingdom, where they had similar attitudes as to back home in the United States, where I knew that bringing it up could bring a divide where people will not understand it or people who experience it. But along the way, more and more, I talk to people and learn that it's like a secret shame, right? They experience it but don't know how to talk about it. They experience it, don't want to talk about it, or they experience it and shared it and were so mortified by the reaction and felt terrible about what people were saying to them or about them because of it, that then they kept it inside. And it's something that I never wanted to approach in that way. And I felt the best way to help others is to talk about and be open about my experience with it, whether it was when traveling or back home or on a podcast or into my writing. But in the past 10 years, I feel like it's become more, at least in the United States, it's become more accessible. It's become more acceptable to talk about it. It's still not necessarily something that people feel comfortable talking about, but it is something that, at least when brought up, it's no longer this kind of moment that you feel shushed by, where people, we don't talk about that.
I get you. I totally get you. Oh, well, you have such a deep understanding of the cultural and societal attitudes towards mental health. I think you really dug into it and you are really applying it in your life. And it's truly enlightening to hear about the different perspectives you've encountered in or on your travels. Who and how has your book been received so far by readers and critics, especially regarding the topic of mental health and overcoming depression?
It's been really well received from what I've gathered so far by critics and by friends and by strangers, which is so humbling, and it's such a wonderful experience to know that what I wrote is being well received. With the mental health aspect, it's definitely something that people have latched onto and they understand from these little signals now and again how depression speaks to the characters and even defines some of the characters, not as their only attribute, but as the decisions they make are directly correlated to their mental health struggles. And it's something that people relate to, maybe if not necessarily in the extreme of where the character goes with it, but at the same time, that understanding of you can feel so overwhelmed by this one characteristic that it seems like nothing will ever come and help. That light at the end of the tunnel is just too far away to even see. But in regards to those who have talked about it with me, it seems like it's not an easy journey, even in the story, not an easy journey, but one that is fulfilling.
So you think your book, I don't even, with what you've said, I think your book has received such positive feedback from readers and critics. I think so. And it's a little bit clear that it's resonating with, not a little bit clear, it's clear that it's resonating with people and making a real life impact. It's inspiring to see how your story and message is helping others. It's really inspiring. What's the name of your book, by the way, or your books? Can you just highlight a few of them?
So, Life Between Seconds is the latest book. It came out November 15th in the US, and that is the one that really deals with a lot of mental health. It deals with depression, it deals with trauma, it deals with the direct relationships that we make and how we can even fear moving on from trauma because we get so connected to it. We define ourselves by it that we have trouble even healing from it at one point, whether it's a year, 5 years, 25 years down the line. So that is the one in which I'm getting great reviews. A lot of people are really connecting with the characters and it's resonating. The other books that I have are very different and are more dystopian. So the Deep Freeze series by D.S. Weismann. I have a pen name, D.S. Weismann, for those. And it's about orphans from San Diego, California, who hijack a ocean liner or a cruise liner after the world freezes over, and kind of how they create their own society. And so it's Lord of the Flies, it's Mad Max, it's compelling and interesting. And it does deal with mental health issues and the way that, again, trauma kind of feeds us all in our mission, but it's a lot less, it's not as deep as Life Between Seconds in the way that it focuses on that as the main topic.
So do you know what we do when someone has done well? We do like this. I'm clapping for you. You've really done well. You've really done well. Can you share any future plans or projects? Go ahead. What did you say?
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'll do that again. I'll do that again and again and again. Can you share any future plans or projects that you're working on related to mental health and traveling and writing and all put together?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a personal essay that I'm working on and trying to get published. It's all about mental health issues for new fathers and the struggle that's not necessarily well known in the US. That's 1 in 10 new fathers struggle with depression. And I mean, that really hit close to home because I really sunk into a depression after my daughter was born, finding a sense of purpose, finding my place as what can I do, where can I be, and how can I be in the way that I want to be. With as a father and as a husband and as a professional.
Oof.
And then I have a new book being published either the end of this year or beginning of next year. It's another fiction book. It's about a serial killer in World War II Paris, but again, it delivers a lot of similar notes in terms of trauma, how it shapes us, how we define ourselves by it, and how it impacts the choices we make.
This is exciting. I'm excited to hear about your future projects you have in store. Your work in mental health and travel writing is so important and impactful, honestly, and I can't wait to see what you'll do next. Can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. Me neither. I'm really excited to see what happens next.
Okay, okay. So what message would you like to give to people who are currently struggling with depression and mental health issues? Like, this is very important to find happiness. So you need to highlight, you need to make it as simple as possible. They just need to know how to get out of depression, especially those struggling with it right now.
Yeah. It gets better.
Okay.
That's the best advice I can give. And it's hard to think about that when you're deep in a depression, but sometimes it's what you need to hear the most, is just a reminder that it gets better. Like, I sink into a depression and then I come out, it's peaks and valleys, but sometimes remembering that that really low is not the end, and that it will rise up again, helps.
Wow.
And sometimes it's a simple.
Wow. Wow, your message is so powerful and inspiring. It's clear that you truly understand the struggles that people with depression and mental health issues face. Your words will no doubt provide hope and encouragement to many. Yeah. Anyway, so that's all the time we have for today's episode of the Find Happiness podcast. Douglass, ha. Where we want to, not even we, I want to thank you so much for sharing your personal story, your journey, and your wisdom with us today. Your insights and approach to mental health and overcoming depression has been truly inspiring and valuable to me, and I'm sure to others out there. It's been an honor to have you on my show. It's been an honor. So, before we say goodbye, Douglass.
Thank you. It really was so great being here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, okay. So before we say goodbye, Douglass, we would like to make sure that our audience can reach out to you.
You cut out one more time. What was that?
Okay. I said before we say goodbye, Douglass, we would like to make sure that our audience can reach out to you if they have any questions or want to connect with you further. Could you share your contact information with us or with them, such as your website or social media handle? Please.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah, 100%. You can find me, my website, douglassweismann.com. So real easy. My handle on Instagram is at Douglass Weismann. I'm also really active on LinkedIn at Doug Weismann Storyteller, so you can easily find me there. Those are the places I'm most active, and I'd really love for you to reach out.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you. So I'm sure they've heard you, and we'll try to put it on the screen and even on our description so they can easily reach you. And a big thank you to our audience for tuning in today. Yep. We truly appreciate your support and your feedback. If you like today's episode, please don't forget to rate and review this show on your preferred platform. It helps us to do better. And we'll be back next week. We'll be back soon. Thanks for being with us. Bye.